I want to go back a little bit to some of your early
Mm.
fights. You mentioned the Glory one. We all know that viral head kick knockout, which was fucking sick, man. The dude had his guard up completely and still ate the kick, and it was all she wrote. Uh, but tell me about Glory. We all know Glory kickboxing. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, Glory was cool, man. I mean, it was great. At the time that I got looped into Glory, we kind of got to backpedal a little bit. So I only had 11 amateur fights, which is not a lot in the sport of kickboxing. You see, first of all, a lot of these pro kickboxers at the highest level, a lot of these guys have like 70 plus fights. Like they're just animals. And in Europe and Asia, there's just way more opportunity for combat sports, especially kickboxers and Muay Thai athletes, than there is in the US. So to have only 11 amateur fights and then go pro, it's kind of unheard of. And then I only had two pro fights before getting into Glory. Now, I have a great contact. Mr. Corey Schaefer is the head of the ISKA, and the Glory event was being run at the same weekend as the US Open, which is arguably the biggest sport karate event in the United States. So, Corey was running the ISKA, which sanctioned Glory kickboxing in the US, and the ISKA also sanctions the US Open. So, knowing that those two events were connected and knowing that, he had followed my career, been giving me advice the entire time, he basically asked me like, hey, listen, if you're ready, this is your opportunity. If you can make a splash here, they'll sign you for one fight, do your thing and see where it takes you. So I jumped on that opportunity, even though, I probably wasn't, my coaches are like, yeah, you're ready, like go get it. But to be honest with you, I was like, man, I don't know if I belong here yet. I was fighting a guy, and my initial opponent, Thomas Dion, credit to him, he was like a five-time French national Sanda champion. Like, guy had much more experience than I did. And I went in there and took him out. So it was just kind of like confirmation, like, hey man, you belong here. You're solid. You're ready to
Mm.
rock. So it was a whirlwind of an experience, man. And then, of course, like the exposure I got from that knockout, being in Glory, and my Instagram went crazy. It was just nuts, dude. I stuff that I've never experienced before.
Mm. Mm. Well, that first fight, I have few questions about that one. How were you able to get over that? Where like it's your debut, it's your first time going out there against a guy who you just mentioned is a world champion in France. How were you able to jump that hurdle? Like,
I really didn't put too much pressure on that. The
mm,
pressure was really on me. Just honestly, the hardest part about that camp was getting in shape. It was relatively short notice. I think it was like 7 weeks notice, which it is short, but it also in that weight class. So when I fought in Glory, I was fighting at 170 pounds, welterweight, 169 pounds.
mm,
And at the time, I was walking around at like 210. I was a little out of shape, so I was a little heavier than that too. I won't tell everyone exactly how heavy I was, but I had to lose a lot of weight really fast, and it was not the prettiest. And I have the best nutritionist on the planet, and Trisha Cornell, and it was really all about just. It's like, listen, let's just make weight. I know how good I am. I know I'm explosive. I know I'm dynamic, and if we can get in there and just let it rip, like these guys have never seen the stuff that I'm capable of doing, and it's like I've fought a bunch of guys like him, but he's never fought someone like me.
mm.
So, the lead up to it was like, let's just make weight and everything else is going to fall in place. And we did, everything did exactly that, just fall in place.
And then how did the Glory opportunity come about?
Well, yeah, after that, it was the buzz around me was pretty big. And, even the commentary was like, hey, if this guy's doing this already, he's 3-0, three knockouts, just fought on a guy with more than double his experience, the sky's the limit. So they offered me a contract, and, we gladly signed. So I was signed with Glory. I had another fight. So that was July 4th weekend, 2019. And then I had another fight in September that went to a decision. Tough fighter, Sean Choice from out in Colorado. Good dude. And then I was ready to fight another one in Belgium, and that was March of 2020. So, we were scheduled for me to go out there and fight a really tough guy in Amari Diedrich. A lot of people thought that probably, if I won that fight, that would have put me into the top 10 in the world rankings already. And then COVID. So
Mm.
that's what kind of slammed the door on my Glory career.